And after over 150 days of isolation thanks to COVID or something crazy, today is the first RTT. It's tournament day. Let's begin.
The Dark Kid.
And it's tournament day. It's been a long time since I've been to an RTT. I'm going down to the Hooded Goblin in Ontario, Canada. We're having a small 8-person RTT following local guidelines. There's going to be a lot of space between tables. We're all wearing masks. I've got disinfectant wipes and all this hand sanitizer and stuff like that. So we're looking to be really safe. We're looking to have some fun, and it is a 9th edition tournament, but with 8th edition points because the points have not been released yet. So I'm excited. It's about an hour drive. So sit back and let's dive in. Let's play some 40k. And here I have 1,500 points of Drukhari. This is, of course, 8th edition point values, but this is the army I'll be taking to the tournament this weekend. I'm very excited to try it out. Let's break it down. You've seen me play with the list itself in a couple of battle reports. If you haven't already, make sure you check them in or on the channel. It is using the Drukhari Real Space Raiders formation detachment, essentially 3 patrols. 1 patrol of Cabala's Blackheart, 1 Witch Cult patrol of the Cult of Red Grief, and 1 Coven patrol of Prophets of Flesh. Leading the army, the Warlord, is Archon Skari with a Husk Blade and a Blast Pistol. He is running the Labyrinthine Cunning Warlord trait to get regenerating command points. And he also has the Writ of the Living Muse, which is the regenerating command points. Now, in his patrol, he does have 3 Venoms, 3 dedicated transports with 1 cannon and 1 pair of twin rifles, because there are 3 infantry units in the detachment. The patrol also has 2 units of 5 Cabalite Warriors, each armed with a blaster. Has some anti-tank capability as well as some fire and fade shenanigans. Then we do have 2 Ravagers with triple disintegrator cannons. 1 and 2. And last but not least, 1 aircraft, a flyer, Razorwing jet fighter with 2 disintegrator cannons, twin rifle, and of course the Razorwing missiles. That is the first of the 3 patrols. The second of the patrols is led by Drazar, the Master of Blades. He can be an HQ in pretty much any Dark Eldar Drukhari detachment, and so I don't need to take a Witch Cult to be able to do this. I mean a Witch Succubus. But I do have 1 unit of 5 Witches. They have taken the Hypex combat drug for +2 movement. In 9th edition, you have to write down what things you're taking on your list, and if you want it to be random, you have to write down random. But so I've decided to take the speed. That means they're 10-inch movement. They can advance and charge, and I've given the sergeant a Phantasm grenade launcher so they can fire and fade and or do some mortal wounds at range, which should be pretty snazzy. I've also taken 9 Reaver jet bikes with 3 heat lances. I love the Reaver jet bike models. They're some of my favorites. I cannot wait to put them on the table. They have taken the Painbringer +1 toughness combat drug, so they are toughness 5, making them quite tough against small arms fire. And the last detachment is the Prophets of Flesh detachment, led by a Homunculus. This is an old Homunculus model, pewter model, with a Hex Rifle and Homunculus tools. A unit of 8 racks with no upgrades. Just 8 racks can use Dark Cornucopians or Black Cornucopians, can also deep strike with web wave if they need, etc., etc. They're quite durable troops. They're pretty fantastic at that. And last but not least, 7 grotesques. Now, a lot of people ask me, what are your grotesques made of, Skari? So I have 3 different types of grotesques. This is the Mark I grotesque, made from before Games Workshop had a grotesque model. It's green stuff and an ogre body, as you can see, and some pieces from the Warhammer Fantasy range. So I have 3 of those in my collection, just converted differently. Then I got a couple of the actual Games Workshop's grotesque with a bit of conversions. They do need a little bit of work and kind of like fixing up because they are resin, so they break pretty easily. And then my third version was made using the Bull Grin, as you can see here, with some pieces and bits from the Talos and Grotesques and Talos and Kronos sets as well. And this is another one. So those are three main ones, and I do have a set of third-party grotesques that I'm currently working on. So let me know what you think. Now, this is the question for you. How many points do you think this will be with the new point costs? This is 1,500 points in 8th edition. How many points do you think this would go up to in 9th edition? So that's the question for you. Put your answer in the comments down below. It's also important to note that I do spend a pre-game command point for the Alliance of Agony. So I go down to 11 command points, and then my homunculus at the start of every game will give me D3 command points. And then I have spent 1 command point for an additional relic, giving my homunculus the Vexator mask. So I start with 10 command points, but then gain D3 command points at the start of every game. And we were here at the Hooded Goblin. I was really excited to get this going. I cannot wait to play some games. It was nice to see common faces, even though we were all covered in masks, and we were about to have a fantastic day of rolling some dice. 1,500 points, 2-hour rounds, with pretty much no breaks between rounds, or maybe 15 minutes or there. It was going to be quite the grueling affair. I was really excited to see everybody, so let's dive in to look at the tables and things like that. Something to note is that they gave us hand sanitizer for every table. We were encouraged to roll dice in dice trays and not touch each other's dice or models. We also had the terrain and the tables were sprayed down with disinfectant spray between every round as well. So all the safety precautions that could have had were put in place, as well as, of course, giving enough space between tables to encourage social distancing. Okay, with that, let's begin. We're here at the Hooded Goblin. It is tournament day, and there are many there's lots of space between the tables, and I'll be taking some pictures and whatnot. We're playing mission 1 of 9th edition. They made up these really cool little packs from everything, which is kind of neat. And yeah, we're gonna rock and roll. We'll put the objectives down. They'll go through like some pre-game stuff. Looking forward to it. We're playing with 8th edition points, because the new points haven't been released yet, but we'll see. So 3 rounds. Let's have some fun and roll some dice. It's been a while. This is my table for the first turn, by the way. Then we got, look at the size of these line of sight blockers. I love it. It makes me smile inside. We have tons of terrain that you can hide behind and stuff. You can play the game and not worry about getting blown off the table early. Hey!
Hi,
some jerk brought a bunch of Talos stuff.
I take offense to
which is good. Which is good. Good fun stuff. Look at that. Good fun stuff.
yeah, that's fine.
And then this one up here. Yeah. Oh, we're just gonna roll some dice and play some games. It's gonna be great. We're here at round 1. I'm playing Mike and his Chaos Space Marines, Abaddon and his Black Legion. He's got Obliterators, he's got Havocs, he's got a bunch of troops to just flood the board with OBSEC, Sorcerer, Master Possession, and of course Abaddon himself. Right now we're in the deployment phase, going back and forth. We are playing mission number 1. So it's Hammer and Anvil, and there are 6 objectives on the table. As for secondaries, I went for Engage on all fronts, which is my favorite. Keep my 2 Ravagers and my plane alive, which is the only one I could really take in this scenario. And Raise the Banners High, so that'll be definitely very interesting. He went for Raise the Banners High. He went for Attrition to try and kill more of me than I kill him every battle round. And the Demonic Ritual, getting a Psychic Ritual. It's all or nothing for the Psychic Ritual. He has to get that Psyker into the middle of the table, so that's definitely going to be where a lot of the fighting's going to happen. So looking forward to that as well. This is the end of the first game. So this was the score. We had to finish before 4, so they called time on us, but we did get 87 primary points. We're not doing the 10 points for painted this event, which, it's fine. to 20 to 29. So Dark Eldar did very well. I was able to basically move up this way and put a banner down on all these objectives and then kill everything that could come and contest them. I have one Cabalite warrior back there on 1 wound, 2 back here, and all 3 of my models that I wanted to keep alive survived. The Grotesque came in late on turn 3 and basically just started murdering everything. So Grotesque's still amazing. And I would assume they're going to go way up in points in the new point value. So I would assume, because they're just so good. Okay, with that, I think it's lunchtime, and then we move on to round number 2. And we're here at round number 2, and I get to play Mr. Devon. Hey, he is bringing some tiger sharks.
I got big scary planes.
And 3 sky rays, so it's a lot of shooting.
I shoot a lot.
Yeah. So I did win the last game, he won his last game, he smashed his last game, so we're playing each other. It was like we're meant for each other, so we'll basically roll to see who goes first, and we'll kind of hope for the best. That's kind of how that works. So I'm taking engage on all fronts, bring it down because he's got tanks, and repair, so the teleport homer, and I put my racks in deep strike. He has engage on all fronts, attrition because I have MSU, and bring it down, so kill tanks. So we're pretty much just going to shoot each other, and that's kind of how this goes. Okay, so here we have at the end of round 2, we did have to end it after 3 battle rounds because we ran out of time. I was getting away with the primary points, and Devin wasn't able to catch up. Tagging tanks that are Tau tanks that want to shoot is really powerful, and they are quite scary with max shots for
They're
1
very
CP.
hard to maneuver just because of
They are. The size of them, though, means you kind of, like, you're relegated to a very small area unless you want to fly off the table.
Yeah.
So that one had to fly off on turn 1, and then the other one had to fly off on turn 2, but I killed it. So I was able to get rid of it. And then tagging crisis suits. Holy moly, does that make a difference?
Yeah, crisis suits went from 0 to 0.
They went from hero to, if you tag them, they can't shoot. Which means that, like, just fly in general is very different. I did lose almost my entire army. I have 3 witches left, a homunculus. I do have the racks with they're repairing the thing back there. They're pretty cool. And then the 2 grotesques, they made like a 12-inch charge on turn 1 to basically tag the firebase, which was crazy. I didn't declare everything, I just declared the close thing, but with the charge move, I was able to move in and pile in, which was good. And Drazar flipped one of the tanks by himself and then got shot by a tiger shark. It just got shot to death. Other than that, that's the game. So we're moving on to round number 3. I think we'll see Tau be a lot more infantry-based, moving into 9th edition, / maybe see the return of some devilfishes so they can move around and not get shot or tagged and stuff like that. So we'll see what happens with Tau. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Okay, so we're here. It's the last game of the day. Just going to have fun rolling some dice with Dustin, who you've seen before. Of course, we're all wearing masks and stuff. And this is the really cool terrain that was showcased in my battle against Cody. The Kickstarter was 100% funded. Woo! All the stretch goals were hit too, which is crazy. Over $100,000. Amazing. So make sure you check them out. I'll put a link down below, but they're really cool. Okay, so other than that, it's raise things to the ground. Gene Seal Cult of Tyranids versus the Dark Eldar, all hiding behind an obscuring piece of terrain. Powers! To stop the freaking like 20 million last cannon shots. Okay, wish me luck. And also Dustin luck, because he's cool. Yeah, he's cool. And that's game. So we only got 3 turns again. We only played 2 hours this event. I will say, while we are starting to learn Warhammer 40k 9th edition, give yourself a little bit extra time. So trying to like reduce it to 2 hours. I get it. We've got working hours that we want to go. Yay! Thank you. Okay, and then Dustin, make sure you check out Stud or Scrub.
Stud or Scrub.
And that is game. So that's a tournament. First tournament in a very, very long time. It was really nice to see everybody, even though we were, social distancing, keeping our distance, wearing masks and like personal protective equipment. They sprayed down the terrain after every round with disinfectant spray, and we had disinfectant, wipes and hand sanitizer next to the tables. So we were following as many of the safety precautions as we could. It was great to just roll some dice and spend some fun times with people. So I will So right after this, I'm gonna basically drive home. I'll get there and I'll break it down game by game, I think. And what I'll do is maybe not game by game. We'll see. I'll see how I feel, but I'm gonna give you like my initial impressions. I think the first impression I have is that 2 hours for even 1500 points, at least while we get started, is not enough. There's a lot of pre-game stuff, like picking secondaries and deploying and stuff like that, that sort of like means that you're spending a lot of time. I feel like 2.5 hours would have been perfect for playing the game, which is about the same as 9th edition. I mean, as 8th edition, but we'll see. Once you get playing, you'll find out. I guess it's also been that we're rusty. We haven't gone to a tournament in, 4 months. And the time that we used to spend just like getting stuff done, maybe I need to put that chest lock back up. So we'll see how that goes. Okay, other than that, let's go back to the studio. And I hope you enjoyed the quick little recaps of the bat reps. Hello everyone, and I'm back in the studio. Of course, I've got my old setup here because I'm recording on the old computer, which is where I do most of my editing. But the event was fantastic. The Hooded Goblin put on a great time. I've had a couple of days to relax and rest up and really kind of take a note of the games themselves. The points were released earlier today, and it's going to change the face of the game. I cannot wait to go back to events with a full list, full complement of models, and really kind of play these missions. Now, and that's one of the things I want to say is the missions are very different than the ITC missions, and it's great fun to have to fight tooth and nail for every one of those points, especially with the secondaries that are not always going to be something that you will get to max out. And I think that is by design, which I like. It forces you to think about your options, and it's going to set apart the people who are professionals at the game to folks that are just playing for beer and pretzels and having some fun in their basement. I cannot wait to go back, and my list is sort of developed into a more Coven and Cabal-centric force. However, I've been pining to use more witch cult stuff, and the thought of taking it out is really sort of like hurting my soul a little bit as a Drukhari player. So over the course of the next little bit, I'm going to be honing the list. I'm going to be practicing with the list. And when I speak to you, everybody who follows and watches and likes, I'm going to be coming from a level of experience. I don't like talking about stuff that I don't have experience with. So you can rest assured that when I'm speaking, I'm going to tell you stuff that I know has proven itself in some way, shape, or form. Probably going to put mandrakes back in, to be honest. Just having the ability to deep strike built into the units is going to be very useful, and being able to come in and modify the battlefield as as things get stuck in, which I think is very important. I hope you enjoyed the video. I am Skari, and I put videos out like this all the time. If you'd like to support the channel, check the links down to Patreon below. Join the growing Denizen community to help me create more videos. Share, like, click that subscribe button as well. Other than that, that's it. That's all I got. Thanks a lot for tuning in, and I'll be back with another video. Skari out. Bye.